From Neural Newscast, this is Stereo Current, sound, culture, and the systems that shape them.
Stereo.
The needle drops, the dust settles, and the room starts to hum. Sloan Rivera here.
And Julian Vance. You're tuned to Stereo Current, your daily frequency for the indie underground and the analog artifacts that keep us honest.
It's July 5th, 2026, and Julian, the air feels a little heavier today. Maybe it's the humidity, or maybe it's just the sound of a vintage Mesa boogie amp waking up in Amherst.
Yeah, it's definitely the fuzz, Sloan. We've got a lot to unpack, from the return of the gods of distortion to some truly haunting dispatches from the Irish coast and the New Orleans streets.
Let's start with the big one. Dinosaur Jr. just announced their new record, They're Near, due August 28th on Jaguar. Julian, they're back at the Bisquiteen Studio, and J Mascis is playing Historian again.
That's fascinating. According to Under the Radar, Jay went out and bought the exact same amp Chris Dixon used on their first album. He's chasing that souped-up Fender sound, the MK1 Boogie. It's Mascis taking Rick Rubin's advice to heart. Listen to your first record and find that ghost.
I love the irreverence, too. He mentioned in the press release that he thinks Spotify showing lyrics is a drag. He wants the esoteric mumbo-jumbo to stay mysterious. And that video for Several Got Away, Guy Kozak directed it, it's pure backyard rapture. Giant floating hands of fire? It's exactly the kind of beautiful weirdness we need.
It's a specific kind of Massachusetts alchemy, Sloan. Lou Barlow and Murph are still locked in that telepathic rhythm. If Several Got Away is any indication, we're getting the perfect blend of melody and absolute structural collapse.
Speaking of structural shifts, let's talk about Stratafield. Their new track, Qubits, reported by Obscure Sound on July 3rd, is this mesmerizing Atlanta electronic piece that actually tries to sonify quantum mechanics. It's got these wordless, lush vocals that eventually melt into neoclassical string plucks.
It's brilliant, really. The way it shifts dimensions at the 2-minute mark, it's the opposite of Dinosaur Jr.'s raw fuzz. It's precise, calculated, but still manages to feel like a living thing. It's part of that emerging singles wave that's making Atlanta a dark horse for avant electronic music right now.
And if we cross the Atlantic to Hull, we have O Phantom. They're a 5-piece collective that sounds like a seance held by The Cure and Stereolab. Their single Speak to Me came out recently, and it's a precursor to their Remorse EP coming in October.
Daniel Maurer started that project as a cathartic solo thing at open mics, and you can still feel that intimacy under the post-punk layers. It's dark, it's vintage, and it feels very British, like gray skies and flickering synths.
Julian, we have to address the weight of Scott Moran's 6th of the 6th. This isn't just an album, it's a journal. Obscure Sound covered it earlier this week, and it is heart-wrenching. It chronicles the abduction of his daughter, Charlotte, to the Philippines.
It's heavy, Sloan. When he sings, I feed ghosts breakfast, they don't eat much. On the track Systems, it's a level of vulnerability that stops you cold. The production is driving folk rock, very much in that Strokes-esque guitar vein at times, but the emotional stakes are so much higher than your typical indie record.
It's music as a survival mechanism. He's using his platform to support the search at rescuecharlotte.org. It reminds you that sometimes the song is the only bridge left when the legal systems fail.
And on a similar note of raw honesty, there's Adam Loughran's Be OK. The Irish singer-songwriter is tackling the ennui of depression without the hollow, it'll get better platitudes. It's a piano ballad that feels like a room finally getting a door.
I think we're seeing a real rejection of shiny production in favor of these cinematic, textured portraits of struggle. Even the Droops, out of New Orleans, their self-titled debut is full of these character studies. The epical ballad of Tough Talkin' Moff Tarkin is this twanging Americana narrative about hubris. It's smart, biting stuff.
They've got that Jarvis Cocker-esque depth on tracks like Justine. It's Britpop charm meeting New Orleans grit. And while we're on the subject of grit, did you see the firestorm over that Guardian piece about gig fatigue?
Oh, Julian, don't get me started. Amelia Vandergast over at A&R Factory really took them to task. The original article basically treated going to a show like a personal inconvenience. Vandergast's point was that if you're a culture journalist and you invent reasons to stay home, you're failing the ecosystem.
Exactly. We're in a moment where grassroots venues are closing and prices are predatory. But the answer isn't to stay home and drink a Coke at the cinema. The live experience, the stale beer and the muddy sound, is where the magic happens. Look at The Daylight Dream from Wales. Their debut single Sophia just dropped, and it sounds like a full 5-piece anthem, even though it's just Aaron Molyneux.
That's the thing. Molyneux is self-producing these massive Britpop-leaning tracks in Bridgend. That energy only survives if there's a crowd there to receive it. We can't trade the messy, beautiful reality of a basement show for comfort culture.
Even Cameron Wright, who's been a backing singer for everyone from Beyoncé to the 1975, is stepping into the light with Hot and Heavy. It's psychedelic R&B that needs a room to breathe. You can't get that 4-octave range to hit the same way through a laptop speaker while you're scrolling through social media.
And let's not forget Andre Comeau. The man went from MTV's The Real World in 1992 to topping the iTunes alternative charts yesterday with Wonderful Ride. It's a gritty blues rock celebration of survival. It's authentic, not algorithmic.
Authenticity is the thread, Sloan. Whether it's J Mascis hunting for an amp or Scott Moran singing for his daughter, the scene stays alive because people still care enough to make it loud.
Exactly. Let the critics stay home. We'll be the ones with the ringing ears and the records worth keeping.
It's all about keeping the pulse alive. You can find our deep dives on everything we covered at stereocurrent.neuralnewscast.com. Keep the tubes warm.
All right, it's time for our 10 essential listens for your week. We're starting off strong at number 1 with Dinosaur Jr. and their track Garden.
It's a perfect example of that Amherst-bred fuzz, taking us right back to that classic Bisquiteen Studio style.
At number 2, Scott Moran brings us Sixth of the Sixth. It's the title track of his new album and a really poignant folk rock chronicle of fatherhood.
Then we have Sophia by The Daylight Dream at number 3. This debut single out of Bridgend is the perfect answer to the recent gig fatigue narratives.
Number 4 is Cameron Wright with Hot and Heavy. This one is a mind-altering psychedelic R&B standout for the modern psych soul movement.
Coming in at 5 is Speak to Me by O Phantom. They're a collective from Hull bringing a really textured art pop sensibility to the mix.
For something a bit more experimental, check out Stratafield's Qubits at number 6. It's Atlanta-based synth-pop that actually uses quantum computing concepts for its rhythm.
At 7, we've got The Droops with their self-titled track, The Droops. It bridges New Orleans flavors with classic Britpop structures for a really fresh sound.
Number 8 is Adam Lochran with Be OK. It's a cinematic alt-indie track that captures the spiraling nature of depression with a lot of production grace.
And to wrap up our new discoveries, we have Andre Comeau's high-energy rock anthem Wonderful Ride at number 9, inspired by the lucky breaks of life.
Finally, we're closing with Pavement's Gold Sounds at number 10, a canonical indie rock track that helps frame the evolution of the whole scene.
And with that stack on your queue, you are ready to navigate the week. This has been Stereo Current.
Neural Newscast is AI-assisted, human-reviewed. View our AI transparency policy at neuralnewscast.com. See you in the crates.
This has been Stereo Current on Neural Newscast. Sound, culture, and the systems that shape them.